I broke my son of a bitchin' foot. I know it's broke too. I think Pee Wee says it's broke. If you'd have just brought my goddamn feller buncher up, Roger, none of this shit would have happened. Oh man.
I think you could use that feller buncher back there with a meeting.
Yeah. It looks like the only type of timber cutting I'm gonna be cutting for a little while until I get to fucking walk around. Try to give me a wheelchair ramp for the feller buncher. Okay. Usually when we do this top stuff around the company, we usually try to do like a safety thing to show everybody what, you know, what happened. What I thought, hell, I'll share it. If I gotta do it, I screwed up, did something stupid, and I don't give a shit. I'll share it. My phone with me in my pocket, and if I wasn't so damn much pain, I'd have took it out and showed a little bit then before I crawled off. But I was in some pretty good pain at the time. Cutting off. Now I was cutting by myself, but I wasn't by myself at the same time. Junkyard was passing through and checking on me. A corner. And we was on this rich doctor and gated entry and all the fancy stuff all around. It's a small job. I didn't want to bring the chain equipment in there, you know. It just looks unfriendly, you know. I wanted to just kind of bring the small stuff in there, you know, do it that way because it's a small job anyway. Well, it turned out to be a mistake because it put me out of commission for a little while. This corner over there, I was working by myself, and there's some pull trees. You know, I had a cable skidder over there, and I was working this corner out so that it didn't slow the crew down. It's like it's on this hillside, a slight hillside, and there was a old growed up field above it. And this big poplar tree, it was kind of wolfed out. It's about 36 inches in diameter. Mama measured it on the stump. Downhill anyway, so I just slapped a notch in it and went to go downhill. Well, it sat back on me. And I'd left this last run I'd made, I'd left the cable skidder up in the yard. So it was just me and a saw. And I didn't want to slow the junkyard down. I thought, hell with it. I looked behind the tree and there's a hole back there where it's kind of leaning towards, fall up there, wherever it wants to fall. I drive wedges in it and then it was set back. It's, you know, it's hard. A little notch out of the back of the tree, which you can see, I'll show pictures of the stump. I took a slice out of the back of it to kind of make a flat face to help it. And I stuck a wedge in each side back here, which was my next mistake. And I know better than all this. Hell, I've done this a plenty. It ain't OSHA approved. You should never do this. But when there ain't a machine around, I've done it a few times, plenty in the past, you know, just to get by and just dump. But now usually I leave something holding. I never slick stump. It's not OSHA approved, so you shouldn't do it. Cut it off smooth. Cut it clean off and let it fall over plumb backwards from the hinge. Well, I had wedges shoved in the back, and then plastic wedges just lubricate that tree off the stump quicker. And my escape route was out the downhill side. Well, habits when I cut a tree is you cut your tree, you release it. Now I turn my back on the tree while I walk out my escape route at a brisk pace. You know, I've had plenty of issues where I get, you know, you're carrying all that equipment around with you, so you got to watch where you're walking, or else you'll end up falling down. And next thing you know, now you got shit coming back at you, and you're laying on the ground, walking around trying to get back up. My brain dead habits, you know, the things that you do without thinking, is I turn, I walk out to safety, and I turn around and watch the tree fall. What I did, my normal habits. I don't know if my mind was floating. I can't tell you what I was thinking at the time. But I walked out to some bitch like it had a hinge on it. Well, it didn't have a hinge on it. I cut everything off. It's a slick stump, and it's sitting on wedges, so it's going to take off sliding quite quickly. And I'm escaping out the downhill side, so you know if it starts sliding downhill, she's going to pick up steam anyway. Son of a buck, if I didn't make it about 10 feet, that son of a bitch hit me like a truck. It hit me. I freaking screamed like a girl. I knew this son of a bitch was going to get me, you know, big time. So I was trying to pull my feet out. It's got this one leg, my left leg, which I got a walking cast on it now. And they're going in, let me put that up there. They're going in and going, I need an actual cast or just leave it as a walking cast. So, I mean, I got lucky. I got real lucky. And, but basically the tree went 20 feet. And then when it hit the ground, it jumped up, and that's when it launched me, when the butt jumped up in the air. I think I kicked off the butt of the tree. But while it was in the air, it threw me another 15 feet because Mom stepped it off where I landed out there and about. And I just got lucky there wasn't another tree back there, or else that thing would have smashed me flat against another tree, you know. You hear plenty of stories, people getting killed that way, you know. A tree come back and pins them against another tree and smash them flat. Didn't even consider some bitch coming after me. You know, I just don't know what where my head was. It tore my son bitch foot off the way it hit me. But I thought, God damn, I'm launching through the air, so it obviously ain't tore plumb. When I hit the ground, I actually looked back, wonder see if I still had a boot on. You know what I mean? Thank God I had a boot on. I'm sitting there, my brain's going 90 mile an hour, and sitting there going, God dang, you done it now. I said, oh, it's got to crawl. So I crawled up to this skid road about 50, 60 yards. I had to crawl through a treetop, and that sucked. There to the main road, and sat down there a minute. Them guys had shut down for break or talk to each other, whatever they was doing. So I hollered down there, and they come and got me. And then, I'll show some pictures of it and kind of explain it. All right, here we are up on the top of the hill, and you can see where I put the little notch in right there, the little divot. That was to make it fall, help it fall to the right, which it ain't really going to do anything anyways because I cut everything off. But the actual path that went out is down the bottom, which you're looking out through here. And that was my escape route to get out into safety there. So the son of a buck scooped me up, and as it, and went basically where it wasn't supposed to go, straight down the hill. And then here's a different view. You can see where it hit that root spur, where the bark's knocked off that root spur. That's where that butt hit that root spur and took off good, picking up steam and chasing me. Now, it didn't pick me up for another 5, 6, 8 feet. But here's where the first ricochet was, and I think that sassafras, that's where it first hit before it jumped up in the air and come the rest of the way more to the right. But I think I don't know if my foot hit that sassafras, that dead sassafras tree or not, or just that balled up pile of dirt. I thought I remembered that balled up pile of dirt. But between the first and the second one, first arrow and the second arrow is where it actually picked me up and throwed me. But Mom paced it off, and I was another 15 foot past this arrow where she found where I landed in the leaves. But and then the drag marks off to the right one you're seeing is just Roger dragging the tree out. He drug it out by the top, up from the skid road up there. And there's my foot the next day, swelled up like looked like a Michelin man's foot. But that's it. I'm tickled to death to be here, and I ain't had a close call like that in years and years and years and years. It's been a long time since I've had any close calls like that. Thanks everybody, and I hope somebody learns a little bit of something from this. Don't do the slick stumping, yeah, that's obvious. But the main thing is always stay plugged in and focused. When you're cutting timber, don't be thinking about other shit, because you'll finally slip up and have something you actually can't do off of tech habits, and you have to have actual new inputs. Go through the flow with that because you pay for it too hard. Thanks everybody, leave me likes, comments later on. Everybody, you ain't subscribed yet, hit the button.